Hello everyone, this is Benny Hills back with another Vintage Cube draft. We're unfortunately coming to the waning days of Vintage Cube. Under 10 days left, so that's always sad, but we still got some time and we're going to make the most of it. Um, I had a Earlier today, I had a really awesome coaching session with Billy Boss. Yeah, we had a really great time, drafted a sweet Reanimator deck that was super powerful. Couldn't quite get the trophy. We ended up with a 2-1 and we lost because we played against turn one Black Lotus Scavenging Ooze, so that's pretty hard to beat when you're playing Reanimator, but put ourselves in a position to win, and I had a lot of fun. I think you learned something, so that was really sweet, and if you ever want to do a one-on-one draft with me, definitely let me know, and we can work something out, and I think that could be a really sweet thing. 7 of 8, about to get going on this draft. Power, Soul Ring. No power or Soul Ring, so unlucky. Okay, so there's two cards that really stand out to me here, and those are Raphilos and Teferi. Very different, obviously. Um, I also think Figure of Destiny is actually a surprisingly good pick. When there's cards, I think that Mono Red, Mono White are both very often open. It's very rare that neither is open, and there's a couple cards that go super well in both. Figure of Destiny, Porcelain Legionnaire, Skull Clamp, Smuggler's Copter. I do think all of those are a good place to start, just because they are just, they're flexible in both. I would much rather lead with this than like a Goblin Guide, just because this is worse than Goblin Guide in Mono Red, but not a ton worse, and obviously much, much better in Mono White. But we're going to go with one of these two, I think. Um, if Mono Green is open, Raphilos is just the best card in it by so much. And then Teferi is just very versatile and powerful, and I do like Blue White quite a bit. I think I am going to go with it. No, we're gonna go with Raphilos. We're gonna go with Raphilos. We're not wed to this at all. So we'll see where we end up, but I do think this is a high upside pick that could end up paying off a lot. And we haven't done a green draft in that. I haven't done a green draft that I've recorded, so that's something. Okay, no one drop here. That would be my favorite thing to follow this up with, but there are 3 green cards, so we're pretty much sure that the person to our left did not take a green card. There's no great blue-white control cards, really. I mean, if we'd let him Teferi, we'd probably take Vista here, which is fine. If we'd taken Figure of Destiny, we could maybe go Season Pyromancer, but again, not great. So I'm feeling okay about our Raphilos choice so far. Obviously, still early. It's not Whisperwood. I like these two a bit more, and it is close between these two, but I think I like Terastodon slightly more. This is good if we get Craterhoof. So if we had that already, I think we might want to go with this, but Terastodon is very good interaction. And we also aren't committed to Mono Green. This is much better in something like Reanimator, which we could end up in still. So we'll take this. Okay. That's a sort of late Shelldock Isle. Do we want to stay on the green train or try and diverge? I do think green is still open. There's a couple solid green cards here. So I'm leaning towards taking one of those. I mean, yeah, Shelldock would definitely be nice if we had the Teferi. And we could also still do this. But in general, I like mono green to be mono green. Like, you can splash colors, but especially when you have Raphilos, you're very incentivized to be monocolored. Um, I think we'll go with Primal Command. It's not amazing, but it's solid. It is just a tutor, which is nice, especially if you pick up that Craterhoof. And it's good interaction again. So now we have multiple ways to deal with non-creature permanents, which is a good place to be because that's something in general that mono green can struggle with a bit. Just meaningful interaction. Okay, sweet. That is awesome. There's a tropical island, and green blue is probably the best non-mono green combination. I also like Eternal Witness quite a bit, especially, Eternal Witness, Primal Command, get Eternal Witness the next turn, Eternal Witness, and play Primal Command again is very strong. But that's Llanowar Elves. That's ideal. No blue cards in this pack too, so it's maybe good that we're not in blue. You really just want to play as many one drops as possible. I'll take things over them, but I can't really imagine cutting a Llanowar Elves ever from a green deck. So take this very happily. Also, Walking Ballista is a consideration. I like this card in green decks quite a bit, actually, because green does struggle to interact with creatures, and this is a way to deal with creatures early that's also a great win condition late, but not passing a Llanowar Elves here. Alright, yeah, I think green is pretty open. Progenitus is a reasonable card if we have Natural Order, which we definitely will look out for, but it wheels a lot, and even when you have it, it's not amazing, so that's likely something to get on the wheel. I also think Thran Dynamo is fine in mono green decks. You generally do like your ramp to be creatures because that plays better with like Craterhoof, Opposition, Fauna Shaman, Survival of the Fittest. Um, but this is just a great ramp spell, so that is a card we would play. I mean, just play that on turn 4, then turn 5, or play this on turn 3 maybe, and then turn 4 Terastodon is nice, but late Birds is a great sign. Okay, no green cards in this pack is not a great sign. That's weird that there'd be no green cards in this pack when there was just a Birds of Paradise, so I don't know exactly what that means from signaling. I think I'm not going to worry and sort of jump ship or anything because I do think this is a great green start. And we've been cutting it pretty well, so I expect to get decent green stuff in the other direction. Yeah, none of these cards are really good at all. I mean, Orzhov Signet is really bad mana ramp, and so if we end up with horrible ramp, then we could play this. But if at that point, like, I don't even want to play green. Like, the point of green is having the good ramp. So I think we'll take Thoughtseize. It's just the best card in the pack, probably, except maybe Narset. And Narset's not easy to play, and this is like good interaction against some decks. Okay, we got some green cards again. That's nice. Neither of these are amazing, but I think I like Sakura Tribe Elder slightly more. It's nice with Rofellos that it gives you another forest. It is also nice if we end up with a splash, and we have another tutor already in Primal Command, so we'll take the Tribe Elder. Also, just in general, like, ramp is very important. It's also good if we pick up a Tireless Tracker. That's a way to just get some nice card draw for cheap. Good Lotus Cobra too. Okay, I do think green is open. That was just one pack that happened to not have much green, so that's good. Sorry. Okay. I think Regrowth is better when you're bringing back Time Walk and Ancestral, and we're likely going to be mono green, so I think I'm going to take the Beast Within here. Again, it's good interaction. This deck has surprisingly decent interaction for a green deck. And it can also just be an instant speed attack or if you're flooded or something. So we'll go with this over the Regrowth. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Ooh, that's awesome to get this late Rex Age. There is a Bayou, so we could be on that green-black plan, but I think this is better. Also, what did I tell you? White and red are always open. Like, there's 3 cards that are all solid red cards and 2 cards that are solid white cards. Revelark is fine in some decks, but not normal white decks. But we're not going to jump ship here. I think we have a good lane. The fact that every single person passed the only green card in this pack is great. And Rex Age is just another piece of amazing interaction. Okay, yeah. We're doing it with these green cards here. I'm not a huge fan of Whisperwood in general. It's definitely decent, but I think I like this sort of mid-range cards aren't as impressive to me as the big top-end stuff. And I think the ideal 3 top-end threats are Avenger, Terastodon, and Craterhoof. So we'll take this and hopefully pick up a Guy's Cradle or something like that. Okay, wow. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I also don't love this card. It's good if you have opposition, but it's not amazing beyond that. But it's still solid, and it signals green, and I think we're 99% to be mono green at this point. Wow, yeah, green is open. That's awesome. Easy Eternal Witness. So none of these cards are great. I think we're going to take the Sword. If we play against another green deck, this could be good. And I do generally like ways to turn your mana dorks into relevant cards, and so Jitte is a way to do that. This Sword is a way to do that. Skullclamp is my favorite way, but definitely having the Sword is decent. Alright, we're not playing either of these, almost no matter what. Ooh, last pick Fauna Shaman. So, green is open. We don't have enough mana accelerants. We need more 1-drops, but I think we'll be able to find those since it does look like it's pretty open. And we'll take one right here. This is better than the average one. Exalted is better than the 1 power, and we would probably play Garruk. I actually like this card quite a bit because, again, it's removal in green, which is hard to come by. And when you flip it, it can be a tutor, which is really important. Like, these decks often... I mean, we really want Craterhoof. That's the most important card in green decks by a lot. But if we do find Craterhoof, then this is just another way to find that. So, hope to wield that, but easily taking Noble Hierarch here. If we don't wield this, then, like, Hangerback is an okay sideboard card, so is Mazavith, especially if you get Primeval Titan. But, easy Noble Hierarch here. Oh, wow. Okay. I love Ancient Tomb in these decks. It's a free ramp spell. Green Sun to Zenith is just amazing. It's, it can find a 1-drop, it can find Rofellos, and it can also find your big boys. But Oko is just so broken. And we already have 2 accelerants that find blue and Sakura Tri-Belter. I think we got to take the Oko here. Um, I would be totally happy with this being my only blue card, and just being mostly mono green. But this card is just that good that I think it is worth taking, even though these are amazing. And I think there's actually a reasonable chance Green Sun Zenith wheels, or a pretty good chance actually. Green is clearly very open, so we'll take the Oko and wheel Green Suns. I think that's the plan. Again, I do love Ancient Tomb a lot, but Oko is just too good to pass. Okay. Devoted Druid is fine. In general, 1-man accelerants are much better than 2-man accelerants, but it is nice that this adds 2. We could also get Wooded Foothills. We already passed the Tropical Island, so there's a decent chance we won't end up with a fixing to make this great. It does have some synergy with Avenger of Zendikar, and then Tireless Tracker and Lotus Cobra, which we don't have right now, but we would likely play. And we have so many playables already. This is like a border, like it's not a borderline playable. It's a good card in green, but like I think even though we don't have a ton of acceleration now, we will end up with a lot just because of how open green is. So we'll take the Footed Hills here and hope to pick up land that makes this fine blue, or at least like a Tireless Tracker or something to work with it. Sylvan Library is another good use. I love Karakas, but I also love Gilded Goose and Finale and Dismember and Edric. Actually, there's a lot of stuff for us here. I think we're going to go with this. We don't have a ton of 1-drops right now, and this is another 1-drop that can add blue. Now we have 3 1-drops that can produce blue mana, which is really good for turn 2 Oko. And I think turn 2 Oko is one of the best things you can be doing in Vintage Cube, honestly. So we'll take this. It's a bummer not to get the Karakas, but we can take this and probably wheel the Finale. I like Finale quite a bit because it sort of acts as a Crater Hoof, even if you don't have Crater Hoof. Like, if you can just Finale for 10, it does cost 12 mana, but with Rofellos, that's reasonable. Then you can get Avenger and give them all haste. Oh, wait, no, actually, that doesn't work. Never mind, because the creatures wouldn't be on the battlefield by the time the pump happens. But still, it's just a great card. Just pumps up your team a lot sometimes, but we'll take the Goose. Oh, wow. I would love a Misty Rainforest. Obviously, the perfect fetch land to have with Oko. But Nissa is just so broken. It will likely wheel, but I think it's so good that we cannot risk it. Like, this is the best green planeswalker in my opinion. It just is so good. It puts a ton of pressure on the board. It pressures planeswalkers well, and even if they kill your lands, you don't care because your mana's doubled. And then it also, like, green can do good stuff with doubling mana. I mean, whether it's if we wheel the Finale, we don't have Walking Ballista, I guess, unfortunately, but this is just so good. So even though I would love Misty, I would take Misty over most green cards. I think I would take it over any of the other planeswalkers, but I just love Nissa, so we'll take that. So Biogenic Ooze is underrated in my opinion, especially if you have ways to generate obscene amounts of mana like Nissa and Rofellos. This can just be like, it's a 5-drop that's fine. I mean, it's probably a bit worse than Deranged Hermit on turn 5, or like when you have 5 mana, but if you have a bunch of mana, it can just completely take over a game. Plow Under is solid, so is Wall of Roots, but they're both not amazing. And Botanical Sanctum is good fixing. But I also do want Forests for Rofellos. I think we're going to take the Botanical Sanctum and wheel the Biogenic Ooze. I do want to have the fixing for Oko, and we already have so many green cards that, like, we don't need to prioritize like solid playables, because whatever we cut for the solid playables will be very good. At this point, I'll optimistically cut Deranged Hermit. This is the worst 1-drop accelerant, but we will still take it. 1-drop accelerants are very important for this deck. I'm not a huge fan of Den Protector, especially when they already have Eternal Witness. Just the fact that you can't get value when you Green Suns for this or something like that is pretty annoying. So, I'll take this. Nice. Tireless Tracker is a good pickup. I like it quite a bit more than Master of the Wild Hunt, especially when we have a fetch land. So we'll take this. And we don't have a ton of card draw. I mean, we don't really have any card draw. Primal Command is sort of card draw, but easy Tireless Tracker here. Alright, sweet. Very happy to wheel this Garruk. It's our first 4-drop. It's not like 4 drops. You want to have a lot of 3s, so you can play 3 drops on turn 2. 4s are less important, but still good. And I do generally like the more Planeswalker heavy green decks. I think that gives you a lot more staying power against board sweepers. If all of your deck is creatures, then you sort of just fold to Wrath of God. Alright, easy Green Suns. Scavengers might make the cut, and it would at least be a great sideboard card, but I love this card. Just so versatile. Alright, nice. Devoted Druid came back. Finale came back. Edric is a consideration, but I like Finale a bit more. We want to have the blue be as minimal as possible. And there's even a chance we don't play blue. And Finale is just a good use of X mana. None of these are good at all. I guess we'll take this, but it doesn't matter. Nice! I'm sort of surprised Primal Command and Wall of Roots both got taken, but this didn't. But again, super underrated. This is a great card. And it is nice to have, I mean, we could play Deranged Tournament, but it's nice to have something to search for with these tutors that's between your cheap mana accelerants and your huge cards. So I like getting a Biogenic Ooze there. We already have 23 playable, so we could just end the draft here and have a playable deck. So that's a great place to be when you still have an entire pack left. The number one card for us to get here would probably be Craterhoof. Gaia's Cradle is the only competition, but those are definitely the two best cards. I would take either one over a Mox, probably. Although I guess they could also wheel, but Craterhoof is really what we want here. That would be the best card for us for sure. Well, I love Skull Clan. I would definitely play it, but Cradle was the one competition with Craterhoof, so very happy to get this. It makes the Deranged Tournament look a lot better. And it's also awesome with Biogenic Ooze because it they just work so well together. The more oozes you make, the better Gaia's Cradle is, and the better Gaia's Cradle is, the more oozes you can make. So, super, super happy to get this. Again, we also have so many spells, so ways that we can have meaningful upgrades to our deck in the land department is a big priority here. So, easy Cradle. Alright, there's a Vivien, which is decent, but I think we have a lot of 5s already. I think we just take the dork here. There's a decent chance Vivien reels, and if it does, that would be great. But yeah, I think Elvish Mystic is just too important. I would probably imagine Mystic is probably slightly more likely to wheel, just because this is okay in some sort of like multicolored green mid-range deck, and I'm pretty sure that some people are more likely to be doing that than to be doing mono green. But this is just too good. There's also Hydroid Krasis, which we could maybe wheel, but like. We'll play as many. We have 5, but we'll play as many as we can. And if we really had a surplus, we could, this is still an upgrade cutting Elves of Deep Shadow, but Elvish Mystic is awesome. Okay. Here, Search for Tomorrow is quite a bit worse, so I'm not super thrilled about that, even though I was just talking about how good it is to have 1-mana accelerants. Mishra's Factory is decent. I think it's pretty free because of our mana base. I mean, it's bad with the Rofellos, but I think it's solid. But I think I actually like taking Emrakul here. It's an effect that you don't really, it's a type of interaction the green doesn't normally have access to. We won't have a ton of ways to fill our graveyard, but, we can at least have, land and creature and, maybe one other type. So it'll usually be, a 10-drop, and I think it's a good thing for green to have access to, especially in some matchups. If we got a Craterhoof and another green fatty, I could imagine a world where it doesn't make the cut, but I think it's pretty good, especially when we have Garruk Relentless to tutor for it. So, Courser or Garruk Wildspeaker? I do like Courser, but we don't have the great combos with it. We don't have that many fetch lands. We don't have Fast Bond. We don't have Sylvan Library. It also could wheel, so I think I like taking the Garruk here. I love the interaction between Garruk and Gaia's Cradle. That's just super good, and again, I do think the Planeswalker heavy green decks are generally fairly strong, especially when, they also further your game plan. So, and by further game plan, I mean, this can just ramp and also be an overrun to turn all of our little dudes into legit threats. Okay, this is just better Courser for us, pretty much. Being able to play 2 lands is a big advantage, so pretty easy Oracle here. I think Leovold is a cool sideboard option because you can find it with Green Sun Zenith, even if it's not super castable. But so we would take this if we didn't have the Oracle here, but Oracle is just a great addition. Okay, we'll take a Wasteland here. Caryatid and Polukranos are solid cards. They both make some green decks. I actually think Polukranos is a bit underrated because, as I've said before, green tends to struggle with creature interaction, but Wasteland's a great pickup. We're going to be accelerating a lot, and so it just, it if you can go like turn 1, Mana Dude, turn 2, Rofellos plus Wasteland, that's just a very strong start. Phyrexian Invoker is also potentially playable in this sort of deck, but pretty easy Wasteland there. Nice! That is amazing. That's just, we had not many more chances, and just to get a late Craterhoof, it really, really ties this deck together. Yeah, super happy that we got the Gaea's Cradle and the Craterhoof in the last pack. Okay, Dragonlord of Tarka is a decent natural order target, but we don't have natural order. So I think we'll go with the Questing Beast. I like this card a decent amount. Very good at pressuring planeswalkers. So it's nice to have access to that effect for your green suns. Man, we could almost play a Yorion deck here. We have so many good cards. Wow, Skullclamp Wield. I don't love Dryad, especially when we already have Oracle, which is just much better. The fixing is completely irrelevant for us, so we'll take this, and I actually think it's pretty good. We have 5 1-drops that it's good with, not Gilded Goose, unfortunately. It makes Avenger better, it sort of makes Deranged Hermit better, so I like a Skullclamp. Nice! Okay, we'll take the Vivien over the Krasis here. Again, Planeswalkers are just good. We want to minimize our blue, and it's not that Hydro Krasis doesn't work with Green Suns or Finale, so we'll take a Vivien. Alright, I think we're on Factory at this point. We have 31 spells that we want to play, so there's not much upgrading to be done with our spells. I mean, we could even take Overgrown Tomb and have a couple Black Sources for Thoughtseize out of the board, but I think Factory is a solid pickup. Okay, none of these cards are going to make the cut, I guess. I mean, Knight for Gaea's Cradle would be nice if we were playing white, but we're not playing white. Ooh, okay. I mean, there is a white land, but we'll take a Leovold for the board. This is going to be very important against Storm. Pelucranos, good sideboard card. Oh, wow. Last Pick Brain Freeze, also a sideboard card. So this deck is ridiculous. Green was so open. We're missing... I mean, we have no power, so that's something. And we're missing Natural Order. That's the one big thing that this deck could improve from having, but I still think this is a pretty incredible deck. So, how necessary is the blue splash, and how free is it? We have Noble Hierarch, Gilded Goose, Birds of Paradise. Oh, it's just so good though. I think we have to do it when we have so many ways to play it on turn 2. And deciding what to cut is going to be very hard. I think we'll move the Emrakul to the board. Now that we have Craterhoof, we have a solid top end, and we have a lot of Planeswalkers. Deranged Hermit we can cut. It does have synergy with Skullclamp, and it's good with Craterhoof, but it's just sort of a worse Avenger, and I like Biogenic Ooze more in that slot. We could maybe cut Beast Within. It's going to be very good sometimes, but I think our plan A is just a quick Craterhoof, and so just adding to that plan is more important than interaction, I think. I think Fauna Shaman is sort of medium. It's good, but the fact that it's quite a bit worse than Survival of the Fittest in general because you can't use it multiple times, and we also have a decent number of other tutors between Green Suns, Finale, Primal Command, Garruk. So we have ways to find our Craterhoof already. Again, this is good. Like, all these cards, I'm not saying that they're not good in green decks, and I think you can have an 8 out of 10 green deck that has each of these cards in them, but this is going to be a 9 out of 10 green deck, so we can't. Definitely don't want to cut any of these ones. Sakura Tribe Elder isn't great because we want it to stick around. Like Mana Dudes that aren't in play when you have Craterhoof are definitely worse. The fact that it makes blue is nice, and it's another thing to kill a Skullclamp, but I think we're going to cut the Sakura Tribe Elder. I love Oracle plus Tireless Tracker, and I love Rexage. I don't really want to cut a Planeswalker, don't want to cut Questing Beast. I guess Primal Command is potentially cuttable, just because we have a lot of 4s and 5s already, and we do or a lot of 3s, 4s, and 5s, and you don't want to have too many just mid-range cards. This is definitely good. It's very, very good, but I think it's a bit worse than some of the other stuff we have. Alright, I think we'll do this in 15 lands. So we can play these. I actually think we're not going to start with a Factory just because we do want to maximize Rofellos. So if we do that, and then add just one island. Although, I guess now that we're cutting the Sakura Tribe Elder, the island is a little bit less good. If we do this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue sources. I guess that's enough. That's probably good. And then that's 2 non-green sources, so 13 green sources. Although Cradle doesn't fully count. It's not a source for a turn 1 dude. But I think this looks like a good build. Yeah, we'll go with this. I love that we have 5 Planeswalkers. That just gives us a lot of staying power, and we can play them early because we have so many cheap creatures. Devoted Druid, I do like a bit better than Sakura Tribe Elder because it just adds 2 mana on its own, and it's sort of cool with Craterhoof. Like, you can tap it twice, play Craterhoof, and then with the pump, untap it and attack it anyways, and then it'll die when the Craterhoof pump goes away, but that's fine. Yeah, I think this is what we're going to go with. We'll see. There's an argument to cutting the Oko, and like the fact that I'm willing to splash in what is a great mono green deck for like 1 off-color card is just a testament to how unreal this card is. But again, no, you want to like this is a card that is amazing interaction that also is a strong proactive plan. Like being able to turn any scary thing into an elk is really nice, and it pressures Planeswalkers well, and then it also just makes dudes, which is good with Craterhoof and Guy's Cradle. So pretty sweet deck. I would love a Primeval Titan to find the Cradle. I think when we draw a Cradle, we can really go off. In terms of like infinite mana sinks, we have Biogenic Ooze and Finale of Devastation, which is pretty solid. Yeah, it would be nice to have like a Walking Ballista, but I think this deck is awesome. 9 out of 10. Again, I think this is basically as good as a green deck can be. It's not literally, like there are tiny upgrades we can make around the margins with Natural Order, most importantly. Ancient Tomb also, Nykthos, Primal Command, or Primeval Titan, but this is awesome. Like, these cards, this is 6 great green cards on our sideboard, and also Emrakul. So, yeah, I love this deck. I think it's very good. Like, the problem with green decks is, like, you just play your early Avenger and think you're doing sick, and then your opponent just fracture identities. And the interaction is just so good that some blue decks can have access to that you sometimes just lose to that. But I think this is an awesome green deck. Feeling really happy we first picked out Rofellos, and like barring weird circumstances, I think this has a great chance of trophying. One slight problem is we don't really have any outs to Iona. I mean, an onboard Oko, it does that, but an Iona will really mess up our day. So hopefully we don't play against Reanimator. We can bring an Emrakul against them, and that can put in some work, but I do think that will be a pretty tough matchup. Alright. Well, I was about to say Snap Mulligan. If we draw a land, we do have turn 3 Nissa, but I think this deck is good enough that we can do better. Like, no 1-drop is pretty brutal. We have so many 1-drops, so we'll ship this. Nice. Alright, this hand is definitely better. We will put back, I think, Biogenic Ooze. We definitely want our Skull Clamp and our Mana Dorks. That's just a great card draw engine. And then Vivien is solid interaction. That's also card draw. So we'll put back the Ooze. Hopefully find it up again after we find our Guy's Cradle or something. Looks like our opponent also mulliganed. So, obviously, definitely going on turn 1 Llanowar Elves. I feel like I should say obviously less often. Like, I say that a lot, but if someone hasn't played a lot of Vintage Cube, it's not always obvious. Although here it sort of is. Like, this is just way better. So this turn, we could play Elves and then Skull Clamp and equip to just draw 2. But that takes turn 3 Vivien off the table. So if we draw land, okay. We definitely are playing both of these 2 things. And now, if we draw land, it would be nice to play Vivien next turn. But if we don't draw land, then that's pretty bad. I think I actually am just going to Skull Clamp this. Against, like, if this is a combo blue deck, we'll regret this slightly. But if it's a control deck, I think just getting our card advantage engine going is nice. This also makes it much more likely that we'll hit our land drop. Okay, well, we would have hit our land drop. So as it turns out, we would have preferred to not kill that off. But I think this is fine. And now, hopefully, our opponent plays Signet, and we can go Rexage plus Skull Clamp our Rexage. Alright, Mox is fine too. Sure, that's not bad. So we're definitely gonna play the Rex Sage. The question is if all right, it was gonna be a tough call if we want to attack the Jace or just clamp up our Rex Sage. But now that we drew a Mystic, I think that's a pretty clear play. We're gonna play this first in case they have Daze because it's a bit more important. Load that up, and then they can minus their Jace again, and we should have no problem killing it next turn. And if they plus the Jace, that's also fine. Alright, they could be mono blue, which would be great. I think we would have a very good mono blue matchup because they wouldn't have access to sweepers. Ooh, Rofellos, that's spicy. We have 6 mana, so we're going to start by attacking the Rex Sage into the Jace. Alright, nice. And now I think we want to get the Vivien into play. They could counter it, but if they counter it and then we just like clamp up this and draw 2, like that's a pretty bad exchange for them. They're just spending their whole turn to deal with part of our turn. Oh wow, okay, yeah, this is going well. We should probably just take the Ooze here. We're pretty likely to hit a land with a Skull Clamp. Kill our Rex Sage off. Draw 2 more cards. I love Skull Clamp in this deck. I actually think Mono Green is the best Skull Clamp deck, except for some builds of Mono White. It's just so good. You have mana, so you're like, what you don't want is to be just drawing a bunch of cards, but not actually advancing your board. But we have enough mana ramp that we can be advancing our board and drawing cards at the same time. And mana and cards is the ultimate Vintage Cube combination. Alright, Ancestral is just so much worse than Skull Clamp. Alright, hitting a land is sort of nice there. Beautiful. Easy wasteland here. We'll definitely just wasteland that Shelldock immediately. Set them back on mana and a card. And now we could Eternal Witness something back. But we don't know that Wasteland will be good. That's close. We could also play Rofellos and just set up for having infinite mana next turn. We have 6 mana. I think what we're going to do is Ewit back a Wasteland and then just draw 2 and play Rofellos. I think that's a bit better than any of our other uses of mana here. Like, we could try and save Eternal Witness for something better, but you need this when you're running out of gas, and when you have Skull Clamp, you never run out of gas, so we'll do this. And we could get back Rex Sage also, but I think getting back Wasteland is better because we already have Vivien to kill artifacts and enchantments. And again, like, Wasteland might be bad, but I just want to get the 2/1 body into play to Skull Clamp it up. We're trying to draw towards Craterhoof here. So if they don't deal with the Rofellos here, they're going to be in rough shape. So far we've drawn approximately 1 million extra cards and destroyed 2 mana sources and attacked their Planeswalker. Like, we're just really doing it all here. Plus, Tireless Tracker. Questing Beast is fine, but they have no Planeswalkers. So I think we're going to start with casting this tracker. They could have a counterspell, so we do need to be wary of just jamming too much. Alright, we'll play our Forest. I guess just crack the clue now. Well, so we have 7, 8, 9 mana. Wait, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Yeah. We're going to hold off on this Avenger until they deal with our board, and then this will be our follow-up if our board gets messed up. I guess we should probably just play Biogenic Ooze. Yeah, I think that makes sense. We'll play the Ooze and just make a dude. So now we're threatening Ultimate with this, and we have a ton of power for next turn. We can make the Tireless Tracker 5 power, and we have 9 power of Oozes. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We can hit for 19. Oh wait, no, with a Vivien emblem, it's definitely lethal. So they have to bounce this Vivien. And we're even insulated against Emrakul. We have so many permanents that we don't care about sacking 6 things at all. Alright, nice. Upheaval, I guess, was their 1 out. So that was a pretty convincing win there. I think this should be a pretty good matchup in general. They don't have removal, so our mana guys will survive, and they have counter magic. But I guess If we hadn't had the Skull Clamp, that could have been a tough matchup, but we just drew so many cards. So, I think against Mono Blue, they could have also had another color that they just didn't have access to. Upheaval is definitely the scariest thing. We can rebuild fairly quickly, but we can't interact with it in a meaningful way. Emrakul is probably going to be good. It's also especially good if you can do it on the turn when they play Ancestral Vision. So I like this card. What do we not want? Harder question. Maybe we're just supposed to run it back. We definitely want all our Planeswalkers. I do think Questing Beast will be good. Rexage is going to be good. We could maybe cut a Finale for an Emrakul. But I like Finale quite a bit. Just if they can't remove Rofellos, it's so good. So Finale for Rofellos, even though it does cost 4, is going to be well worth it. Like a much, much better threat on Dynamo. I think we're just going to run this back. Even though I do love Emrakul, like, we want our top end to be fetchable with Green Suns when possible. And but it is an uncounterable thing. So, like, one of the ways they win is they just have more counter spells than we have top end threats. I think we actually should play this. I think I'm actually going to cut an Avenger. I don't have too much top end. This dies to counter spells and is just like a little bit less impressive than Craterhoof and Terastodon, I think. Craterhoof just wins. Obviously, we can never cut that. And Terastodon can deal with anything pretty much that they'll be playing. They're likely going to have some sticky non-creature permanents, but not great creatures. And then we'll see if we would rather have the Avenger over the Emrakul. If we had Natural Order in our deck, I don't think we would make this exchange, but we don't. So, and like, I mean, I guess we can't Green Suns for Avenger now, but anytime we could Green Suns for Avenger, we'll likely 20 Green Suns for something else. Like, wait one more turn for Craterhoof. Oh, punish for the Guy's Cradle here. We're going to ship this. And even if this was a forest, we would still probably want to ship it. Okay, this isn't like a busted hand, but it's good. Actually, it's very good. We'll keep and again put back the Biogenic Ooze. That's a better late game card. So we have, Mystic and a Tracker and a Questing Beast. This hand sort of plays itself. Alright, Ancestral is definitely their best start, but Tireless Tracker's good counter card draw. Ooh, so is Skull Clamp. Doesn't actually play super well with our hand right now, but we'll draw some stuff. And, I mean, worst case scenario, we can always just draw 2 off this Mystic. So, one thing to worry about from this deck will be mind control effects. So, that does make Rexage very good, but luckily they can't control this Tireless Tracker before we get some value off it. Alright, they don't know we're playing blue, so no need to give them that information. There's also a chance they're playing artifacts and they have Sundering Titan, so Island would make them, although they would probably take out Sundering Titan. Actually, no, they should take out Sundering Titan, but a lot of people don't. Never play Sundering Titan against green, just word of the wise. Paying 8 mana to kill 1 land is not impressive. Okay, so we'll do this. We could just crack a Clue and then put Skull Clamp into play on this tracker. I actually think I like that. We could also just try and hit them for 7 and kill them quickly. That is a fast clock. But that's worse against counter magic. And I do like the surprise factor. Like, if they tap out for a Planeswalker, the Questing Beast can just kill it. Whereas, if they know we have the Questing Beast, it can change their play. This is close. I think I like just trying to beat down. Yeah, if they have a counterspell, they have a counterspell. That's fine. Then we're still going to have our Tireless Tracker. And this is just such a fast clock. We want to kill them before they can really make use of all their card draw. Oh, Thirst. Okay, sure. This card, Gearhulk. Don't really care about that. So it does look like it is just a mono blue control deck with maybe some artifact synergies. So they have Cryptic Command mana, but we have a good enough board that that's fine. I mean, if they spend their whole turn tap drawing, then we can resolve any spells. Ooh, that is nice. So we're going to start by just playing land, get our Clue. And then I think we're just going to attack with these 2. Yeah, we'll keep the Mystic back because we have uses of our mana. And the 1 damage doesn't change the clock. You can play Venser, but don't really care about that. Okay, we're just gonna let this happen, and then play Garruk. Wow, okay. Untap 2 lands. We could make a beast, but we already have a good board, and the loyalty is nice. Now we have Overrun available, and we can crack a clue. And we'll just get that Skull Clamp into play. And in turn, crack a clue. I mean, if we'd played Garruk pre-combat, that does give us the chance to just crack the clue and get in for 1 more damage. But again, I don't think that 1 damage is going to really matter here. And if they have, like, counter spells, like, letting them go Cryptic to counter tap is so much better than tap draw or counter draw here. They have 10 cards, but they don't have Upheaval mana. I guess they could go Mox Upheaval, but then they can't even play a land this turn. They still don't have Shelldock online. They're really far away from Ugin, so pretty hard to imagine a way they get out of this one at this point. And even if they do somehow deal with our board, like, we have 2 clues and we have mana and Skull Clamp, so we can rebuild. Three mana, what you got? Wheel of Fortune. That is the ultimate desperation move. Playing Wheel of Fortune when your opponent has 1 card and you have 8. That is fine with me. So much gas. Yeah, that's great. Okay, they're playing Storm, so I guess I probably should have anticipated that. Maybe they could kill us here, actually, but we're putting on a fast clock, so it would be pretty hard. Also makes me happy with Emrakul. Emrakul is amazing against Storm. You can just, like, use all their resources or make them storm off and kill themselves. So Storm counters 4. Brain Freeze is still a ways away from killing us. It's a bit... Oh, wow. That is such a desperation move. Wait, what did they just do? They cracked Lion's Eye Diamond for red mana. Okay. So they're just banking on getting a super lucky draw here. Yeah, this seems like a favorable position for us. I mean, I guess their Shelldock Isle is live. Did they draw Passing Flames? I do think in general Storm is a somewhat tough matchup for us because we have no way to interact with them really at all. I mean, we can just present a pretty fast clock, but not the fastest clock ever. And like our sort of Planeswalker Skull Clamp value plan is less impressive when they can just win out of nowhere. But they have 1 card. Like, what could they have drawn here? Passing Flames definitely wouldn't do it, actually. They need something... Excuse me. They need something amazing with the Shelldock, really. That's... Yeah, you can just keep drawing cards, but that's not going to do anything, my friend. Now they're out of blue mana for Shelldock. High Tide. They have only red mana, though. And they've played a land. Alright, well, took down Storm. I mean, they did some stuff there, but they weren't really that close. And we did do a good job. We put a fast clock on them. Like, we had an easy kill on turn 5, and it was a turn 5 kill having generated a ton of value. Like, there's a big difference between presenting a turn 5 kill in mono red, where, like, you just, like, Fire Blast and you have no lands and nothing left, and, like, you shot your shot. But we were presenting a turn 5 kill here with tons of redundancy and a backup plan if they interacted, so even though, like, on paper, turn 5 kill doesn't sound that impressive, the way that we did it is much more powerful than a turn 5 kill from another deck. Alright, we will play first. And we will keep this hand. Awkward that we don't have blue mana for Oko, but that's not terrible. I mean, worst case scenario, we can just play turn 3 Garruk, and we could always draw an island that would unlock this Oko. Also have Wasteland, which is a nice card to have. And Gaia's Cradle doesn't do much with it for what we have right now, but if we draw any top end stuff, it'll be pretty sweet because Garruk can untap it and also make 3/3s to fuel it. So these two definitely work well together. If they play a non-basic, I think we're just going to snap Wasteland. Alright, no such luck. Hopefully they don't suspend Ancestral. Oh, well, that's even worse. Although, bad call to do it main phase. Now they have to discard 2 cards. So that's actually not even card advantage. It's sort of funny. I mean, it's good if they have Reanimator stuff. Like, if they discard Iona Griselbrand, that would be terrible. But hopefully they just discard, like, Island, expensive counterspell. Okay, so they have Grave Titan. They could be a Reanimator deck, but we could probably beat a Grave Titan here, especially if we find land for Oko. So Rofellos, beat for 1. And now, like, we have basically infinite green mana. And so if we draw anything, like if we draw a blue source or a big thing, we can cast it, which is most of the cards in our deck. If we draw a basic forest, then that's a brick for sure. Alright, we'll see. Hopefully they don't have Animate Dead. Alright, I was asking for that. We can, if we draw a blue source, we can Oko that into an Elk. But if we don't draw a blue source, if we draw, alright, Nissa, that actually isn't great. We can play a lot of stuff here, but it's just not very good stuff. So Cradle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We can tap. I would love to have 2 3/3s to deal with the zombies. We can play Nissa, tapping Rofellos, Gaia's Cradle, and Elves of Deep Shadow. Oh yeah, that definitely works. And then, actually, we might not even need to tap the Elves. Oh no, we want to have the 3/3 up. So, yeah, this works. So we'll tap 5, play Nissa. Then these can tap for 4 mana. So we'll tap 4 for Garruk, make a beast, then untap one of the lands, and we'll have 2 3/3s. So we can kill the Grave Titan if they attack with it, or just kill the zombies if they don't. So yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Take 1, but that does not matter. And now, like, we had infinite mana before, now we have even more. Garruk makes tons of mana. Nissa just doubles everything. Like, if we draw Finale or anything like that, we just instantly win. So, Garruk. We could also just untap 2 lands to have the ultimate ready, but I don't think we're in a position where we're going to be killing them with that. So, we'll just do this. And then it'll be interesting to see how they attack. If they attack with Grave Titan and we double block and they have a removal spell, it's definitely awkward. So there's that. We could also, if they attack Nissa, we could just let her go to 1. That's fine. Like, you don't really play this card for the ultimate. If they attack Garruk, yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. I would have liked to wasteland that turn, but I think it's more important to put 2 things into play. So they do attack Nissa. Oh, and then 2, the zombies at Garruk. If that's their play, we're just going to eat both zombies and let Garruk and let Nissa fall to 1. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. I mean, they'll make 2 more zombies, but we have ways to make a bunch of 3/3s, and 3/3s beat 2/2s. The way combat works and blocking works, defending is favored. Like 2/2/2s beat a 3/3 on when you're attacking, but if we're defending, then our 3/3s can hold off the zombies quite well. Okay, so they're just saying 1 of each. Yeah, we're definitely just gonna eat these 2 zombies, and really hope we draw pretty much any on Forest. I guess a Mana Dork is also bad, unless it makes blue. And then next turn, hopefully we can wasteland this, and then they won't have access to black and red mana, which are the 2 most removal heavy colors. And then we could then we feel more comfortable blocking. If they just go land Toxic Deluge for 1, that would be a huge disaster. But hopefully they don't have that. Okay, Ashiok is not that big of a problem. I guess it's annoying if they hit our Crater Hoof, but like, Vivian's annoying to lose, but it's good to lose the forests. Man, at first I thought we were in good shape because I mean the forest is up there like a land, so I thought Botanical Sanctum would be untapped. Oh wait, never mind. We can just untap it with Garruk. So we're gonna play Botanical Sanctum. I would love to be able to play this Wasteland, but I think it's more important to turn this into an Elk. So we'll do that. Tap this. Untap these 2 lands. We could also untap it with Nissa, but I think I like being able to attack Ashiok better. So play Oko. And now that's our own. Now this is just worse than a forest because this is our 1 card. So I'm just going to turn this into a hasty 3/3, and we'll attack the Ashiok with all 3 of our 3/3s. And so They have to block 2 to keep it alive. They could double block one thing just to kill it, or chump block twice, or just let it die. And all of those outcomes are ones that we're okay with. And we don't care about tap. Oh, they just conceded. Alright, well, that's pretty sweet. Turn 2 Grave Titan was not a problem at all. Man, these Planeswalkers are sweet. Pretty awesome. That was cool. I'm happy with that. Ooh, Questing Beast. Voted Druid, alright. So, looks like some sort of Grixis Reanimator control deck. Could be a tough matchup. We don't have any ways to interact with reanimation stuff, really. And they could just have good interaction for ours with counterspells or board sweepers or things like that. In terms of sideboarding, we definitely don't want Sword of Feast and Famine, that's for sure. Just helping them discard their stuff. Primal Command looks decent as a way to like mess with their Planeswalkers if they have a bunch of Planeswalkers. But I think we're just going to run it back. Our main deck is just so good. Okay, this is a keep. We don't have a great play on turn 2, but turn 3 Vivien or Garruk. Well, turn 3 Vivien unless they have interaction, in which case turn 3 Garruk. And yeah, hopefully they don't have Iona. But if they're playing Grixis, they're probably not like all in Reanimator. My guess is it's more of a value plan, and like Grave Titan is a card that's reasonable hard cast, and Animate Dead is a reasonable card to just play in a control deck because you can just kill their thing or, you know, evoke Muldrifter and Animate Dead that. So I think it's pretty unlikely they have Iona. I do think in general people should value reanimation spells more highly in non-reanimator decks. Hopefully we draw a Tireless Tracker. I'll also give it Avenger. Actually, we're going to play Elves of Deep Shadow here because we're likely going to be attacking next turn, and if we draw Oko, we already have our blue source, so we can just get in for 1 extra point of damage with this. Also, if they kill it, we'd rather them kill this than the Noble. But yeah, in general, reanimation cards are just good cards. Like, there's going to be big creatures in most matchups. They're going to go to the graveyard if you're doing anything. Oh, okay, maybe they are heavier reanimated than I thought. That's a little scary. Yeah, they could just be playing like Blackcliff Cliffs and a small red splash for like Faithless Looting. Some discards here would be so much worse than others. Iona is like 10 miles better than everything else they could possibly do. Griselbrand's the second worst. I guess Ulamog is quite bad also. Alright, that is not bad. Wheel of Fortune is a sort of fun discard outlet, and it discard your stuff, and then if you have the right deck, basically guarantees that you're going to hit a reanimation card, so that's a cool card for them to be playing. Alright, so we'll just go Sanctum, Noble, hit for 2. Damage actually can be very relevant in this matchup because often they're relying on the actual card Reanimate, which costs a lot of life. So, you know, if they pay 9 life to reanimate Iona, then you can sort of chip them in for a couple damage with what little stuff you have on board, and that can be enough. Plus, we're obviously going to Spell Pierce whatever you play, so you should just pass. If their reanimation card is Animate Dead and they don't play Iona, then we can just Vivien that, which is sort of sweet. So if they go Animate Dead Griselbrand, that's not terrible. They will draw a bunch of cards, so that gives them a chance to draw into more reanimation stuff, but then they would also be pretty low on life, so yeah, this is fine. I mean, it's not good. It's definitely a good thing for our opponent. Now, instead of having 3 cards, they're going to have 10, but we have an answer to it, which is good. And we can answer it while progressing our own board, which is quite good. Do we want to save this in case we get a Tireless Tracker, or just play it to maximize Rofellos? We actually have an in-hand way that incentivizes us to keep it, so we'll do this. Unfortunately, we don't have enough mana to play Garruk and Vivien. If we had Gaea's Cradle that turn instead of Island, we could have. Doesn't matter which one we destroy. We can destroy either the Flyer or the Animate Dead. So they draw 7 cards. That's good. They should have... Actually, I was going to say they should have done that on their turn so they could discard a hand size, but they have the Bazaar, so they have no problem discarding stuff if that's what they want to do. And now there's a good chance they'll have another reanimation spell, and that's a bit awkward because we can't kill it again. But I mean, there's no real but there. That it's pretty bad for us if they have that. Although if it is Necromancy, maybe Vivian could find us a Rexage. Also, I mean, they can draw a bunch of cards, but they don't have much mana, so they probably won't be able to do a ton of great stuff with it. Like, even now, they can't play Makeshift Mannequin, they can't use Recurring Nightmare. The card Reanimate is dicey because it puts them to 3. I guess Exhume would be their best card, which is definitely a card that would be reasonable for them to have. Okay, third Swamp. No blue or red mana yet. Yeah, so they're probably mostly mono black, splashing just for like Ashiok, Ancestral, Wheel of Fortune, like maybe a Jace or something. Jace Fringe Prodigy as a discard outlet. Exhume, okay, yeah, I mean that was the best one for them to have. I really wish we had a Time Walk. If we could just Time Walk plus Vivian, then minus, that would be ideal. They should definitely use Bazaar here. Okay. So now we're going to go Garruk plus Rofellos. Oh, that was the perfect draw. That was beautiful. Nice. Okay, so what are we doing here? We can play land, and then Garruk essentially costs 2. So then we have 4 left over. So we can play Rofellos, or we want to play the Oko. So I think we're going Garruk, Oko, Goose here. Yeah, that seems like the right line. So we turn this into an Elk. And then an Elk actually is sort of annoying. We might end up just chumping it with a Goose because these guys will be tapped and Garruk will be plussing, so we can't make a Beast. I guess, no, there's no real argument to anything else. I mean, we could go Oko plus Rofellos instead, but I think this is better, just getting Planeswalkers into play. Yeah. So this is pretty sweet. Green is not known for its interaction, but they just played turn 3 and turn 4 Griselbrand, and we're able to deal with them both very effectively. Oko is just so good. Really happy we played that right now. All right, sweet. 4-0. And really, like, our opponents have done some decent things, and we've just been cruising still. Like, none of these games have. I mean, that one felt a little bit close. Like, the Oko, if we hadn't drawn the Oko there, it could have been rough, but we're really running well. And I think this deck is just super good. Like, very consistent. We have so many 1-drops that we can. Like, the odds of not having a 1-drop if you mulligan in hand without a 1-drop, like, your 7 or your 6 will have one of these. And tons of great plays, like 3 and 4 and 5s, and Planeswalkers to push the advantage. And we haven't even needed Craterhoof yet. Okay, there's a keep. We got turn 1 Goose into turn 2 Green Suns for Rofellos, probably. We're actually going to lead on Forest here, just because there is a world where we need Rofellos to be as good as possible, and there's a good chance we'll end up just playing Botanical Sanctum on turn 2 or 3, but no real need to play it on turn 1. Also, I think in general people like talk about playing around Wasteland way too much. Like, it's one card in the cube, and it's a 1-for-1 trade, and we're on the play. Like, even if they Wasteland us, that's probably even good for us, because then we're untapping and playing another land, and we have more mana than them by a lot. So I think people need to worry about Wasteland less, honestly. But if it's completely free, then I guess you might as well. Although again, here, like, unless they know something we don't, like, Wasteland helps us. Like, we would love for them to Wasteland us when we're on the play and we had a 1-drop Accelerant. Also, they mulliganed. Like, yeah, not afraid of Wasteland at all. If you've seen it and you know they're playing a deck where, like, they're taxing your mana, then that's one thing. But in the dark, the vast majority of decks are not playing Wasteland. And even if they are, the chance that they have it and decide to use it on turn 1, like, it's just not a real consideration. Caleb Gannon in particular, like, I think he's an amazing player and I love watching his videos, but he worries about Wasteland far too much. Okay, there's another blue source. We're definitely just gonna do this though. I've accidentally made a food token before when I'm trying to sack one of these things, and it's very frustrating. I mean, there's some argument to saving this, but I think getting Rofellos into play is good enough that it's worth just doing. Look at how many things we get. Green Suns for 2 has like a million targets. So now, next turn, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so we're not that close to Avenger. We'll probably honestly just play Skull Clamp and make a food token and hit them for 2, which is not super inspiring, but we could also just draw any Planeswalker and play that, which would be amazing, and we could also draw 1-drop and then just like Skull Clamp it up and stuff, so I think this is fine. And we're pretty well set up for Avenger on turn 4. Rixus again, huh? I think our best matchup would be another green deck, just because I think we can just do our thing more quickly than what they're doing. They can't really interact with us. We can't interact with them that much either, but I guess we actually do have some with Oko, Garruk, stuff like that. Okay. So 4 mana, 5 mana. Yeah, I think we're just gonna play Questing Beast, hit for 4, and play the Skull Clamp. I would like to be able to make a food, but it's not essential. I think just hitting them for 4 is solid value. Just putting a clock on your opponent is never a bad call. Just minimizes the number of draws they have to do something ridiculous. So if we draw Forest, we can play Avenger next turn. Otherwise, we'll probably just Skull Clamp up something and hit for a lot. There is a world where we would Skull Clamp our Fellows, but not now. That's like a very late game situation. Or extreme desperation. Like playing Wheel of Fortune when you have 8 cards and your opponent has 1. So they could play Toxic Deluge for 4. That would actually be pretty bad. That would be very bad. Hopefully we can get the Skull Clamp equipped before they do that, if they do that. Uh-oh. Please be Ashiok. Oh no, they're taking their time. This is a Deluge. Definitely a Deluge. Oh, not a Deluge. Although, still very bad. That sets back our mana and our card draw. So the best draw would probably be a Planeswalker, like either Garruk or, like both Garruks or Oko. Vivien is decent. That'll be good next turn. Definitely making me sad that we don't have a food token right now, but it's fine. So hit for 4, and then even if we break on land, we can play Vivien. I mean, sorry, we didn't break or anything. We're holding a counterspell, so don't play anything. The Roosterakathi? What name? Or the Rooster? Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, lots of colors over there. Wow. That should be good for us. I think Wasteland will be very good against them, and Terastodon can mess up their mana as well. And if they stumble at all on mana early on, then we can definitely punish them for that. Like, the fact that they have an island and a plains in play and they were still able to play Kolaghan's command last turn is like, I mean, they had to get a bit lucky for that. Alright, so I honestly don't even really care what we draw here. Okay, Rixage, that could be good. Alright, just, oh, Pestermite. Sea-Wreck Shark, okay, that's scary. So tapping our Questing Beast, presumably. Well, we can play our Vivien, but they might just kill us here. Neither of these things can interact with the Sea-Wreck Shark. This is definitely a matchup where we're going to bring in the Beast Within, and maybe Polukranos too. So we will do this, and we're probably going to take a land over most things here. The best hit would be Gaea's Cradle. Don't spell pierce me, bro. Days! Oh, that's brutal. Okay, I mean, yeah, we're in pretty bad shape. We don't have a fast clock, and they have a Deceiver X-Arc, so they might just kill us here. So that's tough, but yeah, actually, this will be a bad matchup. If they have good interaction and a combo that's hard for us to interact with, that's much scarier than them just being like some sort of value deck trying to win with Planeswalkers. And like, it's basically 100% their combo deck. There's no way they would be playing Deceiver X-Arc otherwise. Yeah, we really don't have much going on. This Avenger is a million miles away from being castable. Like, we don't even have any particularly great draws. I guess Oracle would be a solid draw. Oracle into 2 lands, then make a goose thing, and then play Avenger the turn after. That would be good. Alright, I mean, that's fine. There's no real bad draw there, I guess. But there's no real good draw either. I guess Noble Hierarch would be good, because that would take a turn off the... Oh, no, that wouldn't even take a turn off the clock. Never mind. Heavy Theft. Okay, that doesn't really matter. I mean, we can't make a food now, but I do think it's still worth it just to rejam the Questing Beast. So they're doing a good job of stalling our attacks. Do they just have the twin here? Yeah, it looks like they do. Bummer. Oh, okay. That's not a problem at all. Questing Beast can swing through these and also block them very well. This card is just awesome. Planeswalker? Alright, so hit for 4. I think finally we will get our hit in, unless they have Path or Condemn. Path would be fine, Condemn would not be great. And now we can cast Avenger next turn, but that doesn't do a ton. It doesn't really do anything the turn we play it, and we're killing them in 2 turns either way. I think it's worth making a food over playing the Rexage here. Like, Rexage could hit something good, and a 2-1 just does not do anything against their board. So, honestly, a really good draw would be a Wooded Foothills. If we could just play this and make 2 counters, then we would have a very robust board that would be hard for them to win through. They could have Kiki Jiki. Wasteland would also be good. Actually, Wasteland might be the best draw. Ooh, okay, so yeah, that doesn't really do much here. We're gonna start by hitting for 4. I really hope they just don't have Mountain Kiki. So they fall to 3. They're definitely dead if they don't kill us this turn. And they don't have a counterspell for this, although they're pretty likely to have one of those things. We'll sack a food. We could just play the Guy's Cradle first to play around the counterspell, but I think we're actually fine with them playing a counterspell. Then, like, what we don't want is, like, a Fact or Fiction, or, like, some way to find their combo. Alright, so they don't have a counterspell. We'll level up all our things. We have infinite mana now, so we don't have anything to do with it. A Walking Ballista would be amazing. Toxic Deluge doesn't sweep our board, nor does Languish now. So it really is just the combo that would be bad. Hopefully they're just playing Brazen Borrower. Nice, okay. So that does not do anything. Alright, can you combo me this turn? If you can, well done. If you can't, I think you're dead. Quick thing to edit out, Dakota. I just want to make sure that it's recording. Okay, nice. Alright, that's bad. Mox Diamond is very bad because that'll give them the 3rd red. I'm like 95%. Oh, they already had the red, so it doesn't really change things, but it's very likely they're going to Kiki us here. Yeah, bummer. Okay, so there's our first game loss, but I still feel okay about this. Now that we have Beast within, we'll have much better interaction. And Fluke I think is solid. Another piece of instant speed interaction, and it also is just a beefy dude that they can't kill with burn very easily. As for cuts, I think we're going to cut Skull Clamp. We're less interested in card draw in matchups where they can just kill us. Like, we just want to be fast here, so we don't really want to be spending time killing off our own elves. Also, they have Kolaghan's Command. What else do we not want? I think Avenger is a little bit unimpressive. Like, I mean, we played it there and just did nothing, whereas Terrestrial Creator Hoof would have been quite good. I think we'll do this. We could bring in Fauna Shaman. No, I think, I like Primal Command. they have pretty heavy red mana requirements, so just messing up their mana is pretty effective, and it's also another way to find Craterhoof now that we cut another top end card. And then we can cut, I think, Rexage. It's good against Mox Diamond, but we didn't see much else. So, and we cut the Skull Clamp, so I think this is fine. We don't have a way to Green Suns for it, so I could imagine a world where we somehow manage to win, and then but we see some more information and we want to make some changes. But I think this is a good place to start. No one drop, but we do have a Rofellos. I think I'm gonna keep this. It's close, but yeah, we are gonna keep this. Turn 2 Rofellos is just such high upside, and I like that we have mid-range threats rather than really expensive ones. So if they do attack our acceleration, then we still have relevant plays to be making. It's sad that Garrett can't kill Deceiver Exarch, but that's fine. And that game was really close. Who was on the play? I don't remember. We were. Okay, so we cannot attribute it to that. And we kept 7 and they mulliganed. Ooh. Alright, Birds, right on time. It's actually not too relevant, though. I mean, we could have had both of these in play this turn, but we didn't have, like, a 3-drop that we wanted to play this turn, so it's fine. The next turn we'll have... Oh, Daze? Okay. That's fine. It sets them back, and I guess we can't play a big... no, actually, that's bad. That's bad. I still think it was correct to play the Rofellos here, though, because they are setting themselves back quite a bit. So now we play our Birds, almost definitely. Ooh! Alright, we'll play Tracker first, actually. We want this to be in play for next turn, and it just uses mana much more efficiently. We still have our 4-drop next turn, so... If they kill the Tracker, that's fine. We can just get a Garruk in play, or Questing Beast. That's sort of close, actually, between those two. I don't really know which better. Probably Garruk. Swords, sure. Yeah, I think I like getting a Garruk in play better. It's harder for them to trade with 1-for-1. Craterhoof was not what we wanted to see. They have a lot of removal. And there's such a greedy mana base. They're playing Daze, Swords to Plowshares, Kolaghan's Command, and Kiki-Jiki in the same deck. So hopefully they play a Planeswalker and we can Questing Beast it. Like if they go Oko and that's like a big part of their plan, that would be really sweet. Although, that would be pretty ridiculous if they had green too. There's actually some situations where I think it's correct to fight your own thing with Garruk so you can flip him, but this is definitely not one of them. So we'll play land. I don't really imagine this, like, I mean, they already played their Daze, but maybe there was a world where it helps, so now we can bash for 6. This is a pretty fast clock. And we still have this Craterhoof waiting in the wings. Make another 2-2. I mean, they also could just kill us. That's a possibility, and turn Exarch into untapped Twin, but not much we can do about that. Don't play Exarch. They're cracking a fetch. That's maybe scary. Okay, good. So there's probably getting Volcanic Island. Yeah, so now they have their 3 red, and they have their blue, so their mana is pretty much perfect. Wasteland would be a great draw. I mean, we're killing them in 2 turns, so really, I guess Beast Within would be our best draw. They could sweep our board. Oh, Mizzy Mortar's that, sure. So now we hit them for 4 and then 6, so we can't quite kill them. Alright, drawing Llanowar Elves is a truly horrible draw there. We really wanted something that would have sped up the clock. 5, 6. I guess if we draw land, then we can Craterhoof, so that's something. But I'm scared we're just going to die before it's relevant. So bash for 4. We are just going to play this out. Yeah, I don't think there's real consideration of waiting. Make another wolf. So now we have 7 damage on board, which is frustratingly close. Skull Clamp would be funny just as a way to push through a point of damage. But we also can Craterhoof if we draw land. Are they going to Fracture Identity or Garruk? That they are. So they'll probably fight our Llanowar elves if I had to guess. If they don't, okay, they're just making wolf. All right, so land wins. We know they can't have days. I mean, they could have force of will, but come on, land. And any other spell is also reasonable too. I mean, Terrassadon would suck, but let's see it. Nice. Okay, not even close. All right, first game where Craterhoof did something. On to the last match of the finals. Another part to edit out. I'm just gonna quickly. Okay, yeah. So, do we want to change anything? Fractured Identity is scary, but we don't have much to do about that. Actually, Beast Within is a decent counter. You can just kill your own thing and have upside. We still haven't seen much that Rexage is great against. Knight of the Reliquary would be nice just to find Wasteland, because I do think that'll be very good in this matchup, but we're not going to splash. We don't have the mana for that, and Oko is still better. Yeah, I think we're just going to run this back. I guess we could also play Sakura Tribalder, actually. It's nice to have ramp that they can't interact with, but what are we cutting? Like, I think all these cards are a bit better. Actually, maybe we do want another ramp spell. No, we're just gonna run this. Yeah. Well, this is definitely keep, actually. Yeah, this is definitely keep. Craterhoof is not exactly the card you want in your opener, but this is a turn 3 Nissa into turn 4 Craterhoof, so absent interaction, we can kill them on the 4th turn, and even if they do interact, then we still have a Nissa. Like, yeah, I think this is good. They could daze this if they want to, sure. And we definitely want to play Noble before Gilded Goose here, even though we would rather the Noble live, because there's a decent chance we'll need to tap it for mana next turn, and Goose is obviously worse for that. Okay. They're really into setting themselves back a land drop. So, that is a bit awkward. Hopefully we draw our fellows here. You know they have a volcanic island. Alright. Get that Goose out there. We'll see if they kill it. Our best draw would be a Planeswalker. Again, I think that's going to be often true in this matchup until the very end of the game when we have all our clock and we just need to deal with not dying to their combo. Garruk, either one. Ooh, Ewit, that's great. Yeah, we're definitely just going to jam that and get back this Noble. Tapping this way, so I mean we're planning on sacking this food, but we definitely want to keep the food around if we can. So if they counter this, then we will not do this. But if they let this happen, then we're definitely just going to jam the Noble. We haven't seen any board sweepers yet. They could have one, but I think this is better. But there is a consideration to not playing this because we have a turn 4 Garruk either way, or Nissa either way. But I think just like getting an extra ramp dude into play is good. We'll see if they just like bounce the Noble. Okay. I mean they could have messed us up either way here, but this is we can't play Nissa next turn. But I think that's fine. Like they're interacting with us, but not advancing their board at all. Although I mean yeah they don't have white or black mana, but their main combo is blue and red, so that's not too relevant. Ooh, okay, that's a perfect draw. So now we can play this, play Noble because it's free, and then play Nissa, and then have Craterhoof next turn with a bunch of mana up. And we can even make a food with a Gilded Goose. Hit for 3 or hit for 5, and then do that. We'll see if they counter this. Impulse, sure. They can't find Daze. They could find Spell Pierce. But even if they have Spell Pierce, next turn we have enough mana to Craterhoof. This taps for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have to tap the Noble, and then we have 3 attackers. Alright, that worked. It's sort of funny if you turn Gaia's Cradle into a creature and then it counts itself, but do not have enough mana to Crater Hoof this turn, so I'm just going to make this forest more vulnerable. And now, even if they do sweep the board, Nissa just means we have mana anyways, and they definitely can't kill us this turn. I guess if they go Deceiver Exarch, untap a land, Time Walk, untap Kiki, we die to that. But that's a very specific string of cards they would have to have, and we have no evidence that they have Time Walk yet. Okay. So they have a lot of mana. They could easily have a counterspell. But even if they do counter something, or this Crater Hoof, we're hitting them for 8. So we have a fast clock. And this definitely wins through Deceiver Exarch. So Forest. Do we play the Garruk first? No, I don't think so. We can tap. So that's 8. We have a ton of mana left over. And then we can play Garruk. Okay, this is one way this could go. They counter this Crater Hoof and then play some blocker, and it's important that we have the Garruk post combat to deal with something. So we're just gonna do it like this. We can pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's no need to untap another. Actually no, we will untap another land first, just to get the extra Crater Hoof value, just because it's fun and it doesn't impact the game here. All right. Do you have the counterspell? We do have enough mana also to Crater Hoof again if they remand this. Although, yeah, I probably should have, I definitely should have not untapped the land before this, because we could have untapped Gaea's Cradle if they had remand, or Venser. So, there is a world where it actually cost us that we did it this way. If we do have to tap all of our creatures except for Eternal Witness to play the Crater Hoof again, then we would have 2 attackers, and they would each get +6. So that's 11 + 8. Oh no, that actually is still lethal. So they could have Cryptic Command is the only thing they could have here. So actually, oh man, another very marginal misplay. We should have played Garruk before combat. Deceiver Exarch. That will not get the job done, my friend. When you're wondering if Crater Hoof is lethal or not, the answer is yes. It's only not lethal if your board is obviously very small, and this is plenty of damage. More than enough to secure that trophy. Alright, first mono green deck, or mostly mono green deck on the stream, and it went really well. This deck was awesome. Like I said, 9 out of 10. Really, really good. I really reserve 10 out of 10 for, I think green, white, and red can never really have a true 10 out of 10 deck. That can only come from a Reanimator deck or a blue deck. But this was almost perfect. I mean, just looking at our sideboard, we had great options there. Yeah, we were able to beat Fractured Identity, we beat Reanimator, we beat Twin. Those are 3 of probably the scariest things for this sort of deck. We just had tons of early mana, very good lands that gave us value, or I guess just 2 good lands, but a great Planeswalker package, top end with the Crater Hoof, and yeah, this deck was just awesome. So sometimes you just be faced with mono green and it just works. So thanks for joining, everyone. This is more evidence that I don't do Storm, but I do have a diversity of decks. I don't always do aggro. I don't always do blue control decks. I think I just find the open lane and do that, and it worked out this time. Thanks for joining, everyone.